You've just dipped your test strip in your hot tub's water and you've realized that the alkalinity is way too high. Is that a bad thing? Absolutely it is. You never want to get in a hot tub that has high alkalinity, and you never want to leave it that way either. Why is it bad? Well, for starters, it can lead to high pH. And high pH can not only cause cloudy water, but it can also cause scale buildup too. But more importantly, it can render your sanitizer and your shock ineffective. That means bacteria could potentially be floating around in the water, and that's dangerous for you and anyone else soaking in the hot tub. So you never want to leave your alkalinity high because of that. Now, you don't want to lower it too low. Too low can also cause problems too, like cracking and etching of your acrylic shell. You want to get it just right. You want to dip that test strip in and have both your pH and your alkalinity come up right within that normal tolerance range. I know alkalinity and pH can be very confusing, and we're going to get into the exact difference between the two a little bit later in this video, and I promise you don't have to be a chemist to understand that. It's going to be a simple definition, and it's going to help you understand exactly how they relate and how they're different and how to treat both of them. All right, let's keep going. So how I treat high alkalinity is with this product right here from Leisure Time. Leisure Time makes a bunch of great products. I use several of theirs and I haven't found a bad one yet. This one is called Spa Down, and as you can guess from the name, it impacts both pH and alkalinity. And honestly, most products that affect one also will affect the other one. Even the ones that say pH up or pH down, they're still going to have an impact on the alkalinity as well. And as I mentioned a little earlier, I'm going to get into the exact definition between the two in just a minute. That way you have a better understanding of the two and how they relate and how they're different. But this is a great product to have to lower your total alkalinity. It works fantastic. It works in just a few minutes. I just add maybe a quarter cup. I turn on the jets, let it run. How much you add though is going to depend on how far off your color is when you dip your test strip in. Obviously, if it's just off by a little bit, start small. You can always add more, but if you add too much, you basically just have to wait, or if you've way overdone it, you're going to have to drain some of the water off and dilute it. But either way, start small and work your way up. But before we talk about lowering your alkalinity, what is alkalinity? And what's the difference between alkalinity and pH? We're going to get into that last one a little bit later in the video, but just know that alkalinity is the ability of the water in your hot tub to neutralize acid. Ultimately, pH is a little bit more important than alkalinity, but if your alkalinity is off, you'll never get the pH right, and that's not safe to soak in. So I mentioned earlier that high alkalinity can lead to high pH, that can cause cloudy water, ineffective sanitizer, but it can also lead to skin rashes. I didn't mention that earlier. So if you've ever gotten in a hot tub and gotten out and seen some red blotches on your skin, it most likely was caused by your alkalinity being off, or maybe your pH being off because your alkalinity was off. Also, it can lead to algae. Luckily, I've never seen algae in my hot tub water, but I do spend a fair amount of time trying to make sure it's well balanced. But if you see algae in your water, don't buy one of those fancy algae removers. Just do a better job of balancing your alkalinity and your pH, and you should never see a problem with algae. But make sure you get your alkalinity within the right levels. If your alkalinity is off, don't bother trying to balance your pH. You'll never get the pH balanced if you don't balance your alkalinity first. So, I mentioned earlier in the video that I was going to talk about the difference between pH and alkalinity. After all, they are related, they do affect one another, and they can be very confusing, but they are significantly different from one another. Alkalinity, as I mentioned, is the ability of your hot tub's water to neutralize acid, to get rid of it. pH, on the other hand, is a measure of how acidic your water is. And a good range for your pH is somewhere between 7.2 and 7.8 when you dip that test strip in. But the easiest way is just going to be to match up the color to the side of the jar that your test strips come in. Once again, my name is Jeff Campbell. This is my channel, Hot Tub Owner HQ. I also have my website, hottubownerhq.com. I'd love it if you joined me on this journey by giving me a thumbs up, sending that clear signal to YouTube that this is good quality video content. hit that subscribe button and the bell notification button. That way you get notified of future videos just like this one. I'm putting out new videos each and every week, and I guarantee there's going to be something that you need help with that I'm going to cover in one of my videos. If you see something that you have questions about, leave me a comment down below. And if you have an idea for a future video that you'd like to see covered, please let me know that in the comments as well. And I will see you in the next one.